So to start off, I want to talk about this new defensive movement system. And if I'm being honest, this part of the video is kind of what sparked me to make this video. Let's just watch this clip of what Mike Wang has to say about this system. Hold up, let me throw on the headphones. So I'm gonna hear what he gotta say, and I don't got on the headphones, so I'm tripping.
You know, there's a number of new defensive mechanics and upgrades to this year's system. One of my favorites is one we're calling the defensive movement system. And so if you're holding down the intensity trigger, you can slide left and right laterally or forward and back even, and you can cut off the ball handler.
So like, am I bugging? But did he not just give us a tutorial on how to slide our feet that's already been in the game? Like, for me, I'm not expecting 2K to like tell us everything that's in the game. Obviously they're not going to do that. And my mindset was they're just building on the foundation of what last year's game was on, which is the pro play technology and making the game realistic. So when I see new defensive movement system, I'm like, oh, they gotta have something new. And then he goes and just tells me something that's already in the game. It's kind of like, I can't fully believe in this whole new defensive movement system if you're just telling me something that's just a part of basketball that's already been in the game. Now, as far as the good part of what he's saying, he did say there's new mechanics and upgrades. So I'm gonna just have to assume defensively, maybe it's like when you're going from a defensive slide to a full sprint, the transitions from that probably aren't as like hitchy or have like a hitch in them. Hitchy, that's not even a word, but like they're more smoother and they transition better. So that's what I'm gonna assume is the good part about the defensive movement system. So now that we're on a conversation of defense, I want to segue into the second part that isn't in the trailer but is in the Courtside Report, and it's right here. It says, by utilizing the right stick on defense, you can control your player and quickly slide laterally into position to cut off an offensive player's attack. Now this feature right here could be either really good or really bad. It could be really bad if it works in a way where like you're standing still in a defensive stance, and then you could just flick your right stick and it'll give you a larger like slide or leap into a cutoff spot. And the reason why I feel like that would be bad is because think about it. So me as a defender, if I'm sliding to someone and I'm trying to get to a cutoff spot and I feel like I need to move my right stick to get to that spot instead of just like going into a full sprint to get to the spot like it's real life, then at that point I should probably lose the battle. The person should just blow by me at that point. And I feel like if that's how it works, it's gonna get like used and abused throughout the year, because people will kind of allow you to get the first step and then just use their right stick to give them a bigger hop into the cutoff spot. And that's kind of not how it works in real life. If you're getting beat somewhere in real life, you're gonna get out your defensive slide and sprint to the spot. Now this right stick mechanic could work really good if instead they only worked for situations like this. Like right here, I don't know if you guys noticed, but that little contact animation that Jamal Murray gets on SGA, in 2K24, Jamal Murray only has like bronze blow by and SGA has like no clamps and like 83 perimeter defense. There's a chance this animation only pops up because the difficulty is lower, or these animations are going to happen a lot more in 2K25. And if that's the case, it'll allow this right stick cutoff mechanic to be a lot better in these situations. Because right here, Jamal Murray has the option of either driving straight to the lane to like go for a contact layup, or he could do a step back to get his shot off, or he could go and get like do a Euro step to get by SGA. Like if he was closer to the basket though, obviously he's not gonna Euro from the 3-point line. But if that's how the right stick cutoff is gonna work, where a defender could actually predict, oh, this person is going to the left, I'm all for that. Me being someone that used a lot of the advanced layups like the floaters and the Euro steps, I could understand if defenders feel like when somebody does a Euro, they're basically helpless because they're being thrown into an animation where they can't guard them and they're being thrown out the play. But now with this mechanic, if the defender's actually reading the offensive player in the sense that they're seeing that he's only going up the right side of the court so that he could step to the right, Euro to the left, and finish with a reverse layup on the left side, if he can predict that and move his right stick to the left as Jamal Murray is going to the left, I feel like I'm perfectly fine with that. And that'll add a lot more of a skill gap when it comes to who's a better defender within the game. Now, the next part I want to talk about is something I seen in the Courtside Report about the contest system over here. And it says for NBA 2K25, we made significant changes to the contest system. We now use a dynamic weighting system rather than a fixed one that evaluates the impact of defense at the start of the shot versus the release. Now, when I seen this, I instantly kind of like started going in my head, why would they change the impact of defense back to the start of the shot versus the release? Because the big man, if they step up after you pass the first defender, they could just look at you and then go crash for the rebound and get a 20% contested. But then if you look right here, it says we now use a dynamic weighting system rather than a fixed one. So what I'm assuming what they're trying to say I go for a shot and he's in front of me, my contest may start off as a 20% contested and my green window will shrink. But if he doesn't fully commit and put his hand up and he just like walks away or backs up or just stands there and my release is going over him, then it'll dynamically change to like an open shot and my green window will become larger again. I'm hoping that's how the contest system is going to work and that's how it's intended to work. And if it doesn't work like that, we're going to see a lot less mid-ranges and floaters. Next, I want to talk about the new shot canceling feature, and I'm going to talk about the good first before I talk about the bad now. The good thing that I seen is I was on Twitter and somebody that works on the gameplay team, I believe, or he works with the devs, something like that. He basically said that this new shot canceling feature is different from the ones we had before. Like predominantly like in 16 and 17, people would do like hop jumpers, cancel out of them, and then go into another move. And he's basically saying that the old one wasn't as complex as the ones we have now. The ones that we're gonna get is a lot more smooth and they're basically way better than how we had it before. Now that's a W on 2K for bringing back this feature. I feel like it aligns with the whole pro play stuff and like the shot creation that you guys see, like that a lot of people are starting to do with like the hop jumpers and the step backs and things like that. But the bad thing about this, what you guys showed us in the trailer isn't necessarily that different from what we had in 16 and 17. Like the tweet that I saw, I'm personally going to keep it in mind and see like what I'm able to do out of these shot cancellations. But from a marketing perspective, to say a new shot canceling feature and then to not show us the new part of it or like what we can do out of it kind of doesn't align, because there's a lot of people that used to play 2K that probably haven't played in years that are definitely going to check out this trailer, and then when they see new shot canceling feature and then they see a feature that was in the old 2K, they're just gonna assume that you're recycling old features and bringing them back and just branding it as new, which is gonna just play into the narrative of, oh, every game is copy and paste and this, that, and the third. So I feel like 2K should have did a better job in like actually showing and talking about the new features within the game. Like if you guys look at the Madden trailer, you guys will see how different, like they literally broke everything down. And again, I'm not expecting 2K to do that, but at least in a clip, show one brand new thing that aligns with you saying that this feature is a new feature. And I also forgot to mention too, the same way how in previous games with the hop jumpers, how they started to have a hitch, you could kind of see it in this animation too, with how Curry does it. You could see he does it and he doesn't like burst into a whole nother move. He stops and then goes into a next move. So that might not be the case with every single hop jumper or every shot cancellation, but that's just something to keep in mind. Now, as I was editing this video, Mike Wang just dropped some more information on the shot canceling feature. And if you don't want to read all of this, basically he's saying that with this new shot canceling feature, you could break out of it throughout the whole like step back animation, instead of like in 16 and 17 where you would have to wait a while, like you would have to complete like the whole hop jumper animation, then be able to cancel out of it. So that's a W on Mike Wang, but you still got to see how it actually is when the game comes out. And now with the next part I want to talk about the all new dribble engine that they showed off. Now, the good thing that I seen throughout these clips, I ain't gonna lie, all of this dribbling looks a lot more smoother. Like you do not see as much hitches as you would in 2K24. Like when you're guarding someone in 2K24, you could kind of tell when they're flicking their stick to do a behind the back or a crossover between the legs. You could kind of tell when they're doing the input. with some of these combinations that I see, I can't really tell. Like right here, how Stephen Curry like does the between the legs into the behind the back. That right there looked a lot smoother. And I know like visually the game doesn't look like a whole complete new game, but I could tell that the game's gonna feel different. Like, you know how in 2K23 to 24, as soon as you dribbled, you could feel the difference in how smoother it is. I feel like that's gonna happen again going into 2K25. People are gonna feel that jump in the feel of how you dribble the ball. Now, with the good comes the bad. I feel like 2K is setting the wrong idea by just throwing new on everything, and that's kind of a theme I see throughout this. They say new dribble engine, new this, new that, but these clips, you're kind of showing breakdowns of pro play that we already seen in the previous game. Like, at least show us some new stuff. Like, I ain't gonna lie, at first I thought all of these animations were in 24, but to be honest, this Jason Tatum pro play animation, I tried to replicate it in 2K24, but like not this, but right here, how he goes between the leg to sway to the right, and then he crosses to the left, and then he behind the backs back to the right. But everything else, all of these size ups and stuff, I think I've kind of seen in 2K24. Not the smoothness, but the animation itself. And my whole thing too is like, they're saying there's 9,000 new pro play animations and I think 1,500 dribble animations, but you guys only showed off like one new one. That kind of, you know, like sets off a red flag. Like, you're saying there's 1,500 new animations, but in the trailer you probably only showed like one new thing that we haven't seen before. That's kind of crazy. And again, I'm not saying this to hate on 2K or anything like that. I'ma play it and I kind of understand what they're saying, but you have to also understand that a lot of people are gonna see all new dribble engine and they're gonna think, yo, this is going to be a game that's completely different from 24 and is not, and it's gonna have like zero similarities. And when you say this is gonna be the biggest upgrade in 15 years, people are expecting for this to look like you're playing on a whole nother console, you know? But yeah, I'm pretty sure this game is gonna feel different in terms of how it plays and your inputs and stuff. I'm just hoping like when I'm dribbling or doing certain things, the same way it is offline, it's very close to that and similar once I get online, because that was a big problem in 24. The game felt completely different online and offline. And I understand since it's online, it's gonna be a little bit of a difference, but in other games, the difference is not as big as what it is in 2K. But if you've been frustrated playing on 2K servers, or you're tired of buying so much VC just to play the game, be sure to check out my last video.